right, New York Giants fans, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. Oh, we just finished the live stream. Live stream was fun on Sunday. I had a good time doing it. I'm glad we did a Sunday one. I like the opportunity to do different. I want to do it. If I do keep continuing to do live streams, I want to do it different times and different dates because there are so many people that, work and have other issues and time zone differences. And I'm trying to find that perfect sweet spot where the people over in Europe can join, the California people can join. So right now, Sunday, I think at 11, not the best time, but we're working on it. We're getting there. But let's talk about two topics with the New York Giants today. One is Allen Robinson. It's looking like he's already nixing a deal to either the Giants or the Jets. He basically came out the other day and said that he does not have a problem being in Chicago. His goal has always been to be the all-time receiving leader of the Chicago Bears. They're still working on their quarterback situation. And honestly, there's still also the potential that the Bears are just going to, franchise tag him and pay him the $16.1 million and or $16.4 million and hope that they can work out a deal with them. And also, let's just face facts. Allen Robinson is coming from he came from the Jags, where he had his ups and downs in his career. He went to the Bears, who've actually made the playoffs last year. So we have to think about this for a minute. Why would he want to come to either the Jets or the Giants? The Jets have like $67 million in cap space right now, so they could just throw out a huge offer to him. Giants, we have about $1 million in cap space before cuts and everything else. And Allen Robinson has really never played with a quality quarterback. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky, Blake Bortles, Nick Foles. I mean, come on. Why would he want to go into a situation in either New York team where it's either Sam Darnold or others, because we don't know yet, or Daniel Jones? I mean, if I was him, and this is going to be his last big contract. This is it for him. He's at that age where, as an NFL player, you understand that this is where you need to make your money. This is where you need to make your money for retirement. And at the same time, hopefully you want to go to a playoff contender. And the Jets are probably 5-6 years away. Well, I don't know, maybe 5 years away before becoming relevant again. Unless Darnold makes a huge leap or they go to a different quarterback situation. And Daniel Jones, we have no idea what we're going to get in year 3. Are we going to turn around and is he going to find the magic from his rookie season? Or does the league have enough film on him that they understand all of his tendencies and he's not going to progress beyond an average NFL quarterback? So from a receiver's perspective, and the same with the kid in Detroit who's probably going to get tagged as well, why would you want to come to the Giants or the Jets? Curtis Samuel makes the most sense because of the fact that he is a Dave Gettleman guy. But it doesn't make sense in perspective unless you're getting rid of Sterling Shepard because they are basically the same player. They are look, and I did the video about it. Look at their stats. Look at their size. Look at everything else. Look at their age. They're clones. And people are like, well, he's so much better than Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard's biggest issue is the injuries. And some of these injuries, like concussions, you just don't know about. So, I mean, I don't fault as a person who's had multiple concussions. I can tell you don't know when you're going to recover. And I played back in the day in college where you had a concussion, rub some dirt on it, you'll be fine, get back in there. Nowadays, you got to go through the protocols and everything else. So I'm not going to sit there and say Sterling Shepard's injury prone, but I'm also not going to spend a good amount of our cap space for a player who's exactly the same player that I already have, unless I'm getting rid of that player, but then you open up another wide receiver spot. So I don't think Allen Robinson's coming. Beyond Samuel, I don't think we're gonna snag that tier 1 receiver. I think cap space is going to play a very much important part this year because of the fact that even if we come in and they have the cap of 185 million, and let's say we have 35 million, you're still going to need to try to restructure some deals. You're going to have to get Leonard Williams to take a lot less money up front and backload his contract. You're going to have to add, you're probably going to then have to, jettison Dalvin Tomlinson. because of the fact that people don't seem to remember that you're still signing Leonard Williams out of that $38 million or $40 billion, whatever we have. You're still signing him that contract out of that pool of money. Not to mention the fact that we've said this before, you're working off the rule of 51 until after training camp, and the fact that we have to take money out for our rookie salary pool. So these are all factors we need to think about. Now, my other big question is, what if Leonard Williams walks? What if we can't come to a contract agreement with him? What if he plays it out and goes to free agency? I've seen some rumors on Twitter that the Giants are getting ready to sign him to a big deal. Leonard Williams is not signing with the Giants until the start of free agency. Why would he? Why would he remove his bargaining chips? And the bargaining chips are other teams in the league that are going to give him contract offers. Yes, the Giants would love to sign him before he hit free agency, but from a Leonard Williams agent perspective, I would be like, no, let's just wait till March. Let's see what happens. But what happens if we lose Leonard Williams? Plain and simple. What if he signs elsewhere? And I think that's what we need to understand. It could be a realistic possibility. Now, my first inclination, of course, is that if you lose Leonard Williams, you need to sign Dalvin Tomlinson. And if anything, if there's just any player I'd be working on a contract now, it would be Dalvin Tomlinson. Because he's going to cost you $10 to $12 million. And he's the kind of guy that I think you could turn around and say, hey, you know what, we're going to give you a little less up front and a lot more in the back. So I could see him taking that type of offer. But then who do you go after? I mean, personally, I would like the Giants to go after Yannick Ngakoue. He made $12 million last year. He's traded twice, had an off season. And if you think about it, I don't see him getting the money that he wanted like $15 million. I don't see him maybe reaching that $15 million mark right now because of the fact that the type of season that he had. And he played on a fantastic Baltimore team. So my question is going to be, maybe he takes $12 million. And that's what I love, because maybe you sign Dalvin for 10, Yannick for 12. You just, because we know Leonard wants $20 million. You just have two guys you just signed now for $22 million. Or do you go with someone like Ryan Kerrigan? I don't think he's going to want to leave Washington, but he would be an option as well. Yes, I know he's a stopgap at 33, but he's a professional. He could help the younger guys on the line, and he would still cost a lot less than Leonard Williams, and we can, again, maintain and keep the consistency with Dalvin Tomlinson. And then you also think, we've talked about Ingram from the Chargers. He's more of a quasi linebacker slash player. And then we got the former Giant, of course, over in Detroit. I don't think he's leaving Detroit. But then, like I said, you really would have to then really take a look at what's in the defensive end market. Now, you could even go, I wouldn't want to go like with Tyrone Crawford. I would take a flyer on Justin Houston, who's coming off a $12 million contract from Indianapolis. I mean, I would even bring Justin Houston in. I know he's at 32, but he's probably going to get between 8 and 9. And again, you signed Dalvin for 10, him for 8. You got $18 million wrapped up in 2 players now instead of 1. Because you're not going to sign both Leonard Williams and Dalvin Tomlinson, because you're going to be wrapping up almost $30 million on your defensive line on 2 players. And you're hoping that Leonard Williams turns around and has a season like he did in his 6th year and not in his 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So that's what you need to be wary of. There's opportunities out there. But I think from a perspective, we need to be smart with our cap space, because honestly, we really need to rebuild this offensive line. There are some defense. This is not a extremely deep draft for defensive ends, but there are some players that we can get in the later rounds. You could also just go with Gregory Rousseau. I am a fan of Gregory Rousseau from Miami, Mr. 305, and then go wide receiver in your 2nd round, and then maybe go offensive lineman. Or maybe you want to take your money, your cap space now, and move it towards an offensive lineman perspective, because that's probably what you're going to need. But I'm telling you right now, if it was me personally, I'm letting Leonard walk. I sign someone like Yannick for maybe 12 to 14 million. I bring back Dalvin Tomlinson for 10, and I got two players making 22 million. That's the same price that Leonard Williams wants to have. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, if you can subscribe, if you can ring that bell, you know what that means, that'd be awesome.